Streaming just because it's a very special Sunday. So let's get into it right now. Hello everybody, my name is Rituro, and this is my life in Silver League. My opponent today is Silver Leaguer by the name of Lloyd from Clan JK, and he's playing random on Aquilon Wastes, a map which is back in the pool for 2014. Very happy with that. He randoms onto red, the red Zerg, I should say, in the bottom right-hand corner. I, of course, the blue Terran in the top left-hand corner. And there we go, nice bit of politeness for both of us here. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Now, we'll see how Lloyd does here. Is he one of those people who can just pick random and do everything perfectly? If he is, I envy him so much. Because those of you who know me, when I random, it goes horribly. It goes horribly, guaranteed. But let's skip ahead to the good stuff here. Pretty standard openings here for both players. As you can see, I've got the supply deal going down on the high ground to wall off. Meanwhile, Overlord is scouting up for Lloyd, as he also has a second one on the way. He will not be supply blocked anytime soon. Barracks on the way now to complete the wall off, as well as the traditional standard, little tiny, not quite built supply deal to finish that wall off, because when I'm playing, I like to make sure I have a bit of security on Aquilon Wastes. Don't want to get rushed early, regardless of what race comes at me. Meanwhile, my little SCV will scoot underneath two Overlords, count them two, and I will find, look at that, almost in time to block off the hatchery, just not quite able to get there. Unfortunate to be sure, but it does mean that at least I know the timing of that hatchery. I also have my orbital on the way, which is a very good thing indeed. Meanwhile, I will indeed scout this spawning pool. I know it's here, I know— oh no! No! Don't ever run in the middle of a giant horde of drones. They will kill you. Meanwhile, the extractor trick goes down for Lloyd, as I don't think he actually pulled it off properly there. Ends up canceling the Vespene Geyser. Is this perhaps a shift, knowing that I was going to see it? Perhaps it was. He does put double gas back up. Not quite sure what the point of the cancel was there, but regardless, I have my first Marine on the field, and it has spotted this Overlord. Now, how much will Lloyd see? He turns and runs. Will he get any sort of scout? Will he even see the wall off, for that matter? Oh, it's not looking good. As his second hatch is almost done in his first Queen's Place. Second Marine joins the fight. He'll see the barracks. He will indeed see the second barracks. Just see it here, so not able to prevent that scouting from happening, but I do briefly supply block Lloyd, which is crucial. If you can get a supply block on Zerg, you are doing alright. My Geyser is fully saturated on the top, or on the, not top, the lower Vespene Geyser, not the safe one. But I do have a factor coming here to explain the early gas, trying to get up that tech tree. Reactor coming on now for the back barracks, so it looks like there's going to be more Marines coming onto the field. Now that I know I'm playing Zerg, I know I need bodies on the field, predicting some sort of rush. Perhaps I misread that a bit, though. The double gas is up and running for Lloyd. He is— could he perhaps be working towards Zergling's speed? I think is my original thought there for getting more Marines on the field, but not seeing any, not even seeing any in production at this moment. Only two drones. Look at the army supply here. Army supply is 6-4 in favor of me. Those 4, I believe, are taken up entirely with Queens. So, interesting so far. Looking at the units tab, yeah, it's 2 Queens. That's the entirety of Lloyd's army supply. Interesting choices here from Lloyd in the early going as he works on his random Zerg play. I think he'll have 5 Marines on the field and counting. Make it 6, make it 7. As the tech lab going down now on the factory, getting those siege tanks on the way. High ground expansion underway as well. Meanwhile, the barracks will move back from the wall in and set up a tech lab on the back area to get that STEM research on the way here, as the wall will be recompleted by a supply depot. Now, there are many ways I could have done this better. Just, built a third barracks, for example. But I like the flying back because it means I don't have to spend 100 to complete the wall as opposed to 150, and creates a few little more maneuverable crevices to get, let's say, SCVs in there to repair if necessary. Regardless, though, we have Marauders now coming on the field. Finally, some Lings are on the field for Lloyd. That took a long time to get any sort of army outside of Queens. At the 6 3/4 minute mark, 2 Lings now guarding the front door for Lloyd. Those Lings are not just guarding, they are actually off to the races here. Where are these Lings off to? Are they scouting perhaps at the Zelnaga Tower? That is indeed a possibility. And there is the scout. 2 Zerglings on 1 tower. Slightly inefficient. And sure enough, here goes the second one. Now, is he going to head to the tower, perhaps? Meanwhile, I have dropped the command center in the third location. Not exactly the safest place to put it when I do have this and a well-protected area at that. Not quite sure. Now, the question is, does Lloyd know? He's got his speed done. Timing works out well. 16 more lings on the way. Oh, 16 more lings. He's got a bit of a ling rush on the way here as he now begins his creep spread. Now, does he know? He does not. He was not able to see this being built. This Overlord just out of range. Lucky break there for me. Not so lucky for this ling who's going to move in and get a scout. And then, oh, he's going to be shot to pieces. There we go. One-shotted. And the SCVs will transfer in safety. And now, having seen that, the army goes for busting down these rocks, opening up a second avenue. So what you gotta do, we've taken this third base, you need to be able to access it as quickly as possible, especially if you want to transfer. Mules coming down now in lieu of any sort of hard transfer. New Carapace coming up now to get that Overlord speed, and sure enough, the rocks are down. That means the second rocks come down and form a wall on the lower ground. Now, the Lings do have a chance here. If they can get up this ramp in a hurry, my army's out of position, but Lloyd is just going to sit here and consolidate, it looks like. He is supply blocked. More Overlords on the way, 3 more on the way, as well as Lair Tech at his main base. Roach Warren is done. Baneliness is on the way, so we could be seeing Ling Ling Roach, perhaps. Or is the Roach Warren just a means to an end to perhaps go up to Muta, get Muta Ling Ling on the field? Meanwhile, the Ling army sweeping out the right side, grouping at this watchtower, really holding on this side of the map well. The problem is there's absolutely nothing to hold other than this tower. This army is not exactly in the best of positions, although considering they have now a good avenue at what is now the walled-off third. Not quite sure what the point is. Single scouting Ling now going forward. When is this Zergling being sent to his doom as he hops, skips, jumps, floats, skedaddles? Oh, there we go. He's taking the second tower. Good job, Zergling. So good vision here, actually, for Lloyd. He's got his Lings. Half of them are now Bane Lings, so it's a good Ling-Ling combo. Overlords in the corners, not in the best scouting locations. They can't quite see enough to be of an impact. Meanwhile, missile turret going down at the third base. Technically third, actually the second. Here's the third, technically second. Second, technically third. Oh my goodness. It's all up in pieces here. Meanwhile, 2 siege tanks holding the high ground, or the mid ground, against any sort of rushes, though they are looking pretty good here, as 2 medvacs have joined the bio to hold down here reactor on that starport, providing that level of tech. More siege tanks on the way there. I'm using my minerals actually fairly well. All my resources being used fairly well here. Now I realize that I am supply blocked. I have missile turrets up in case there's going to be some scouting or some Muta. Now I have to alleviate the supply block. Meanwhile, the Ling bus continues. More Banelings. Lots more Banelings for Lloyd as his supply is wide open. 20 more Zerglings join. This is like a pure Ling play. No Spires that I can see here. No Mutas on the way. It's all pure Ling-Ling. Not even thinking about Roaches at this point. To be fair, he doesn't have much gas, so he couldn't really put that many Roaches in if he wanted. But he does have centrifugal hooks there to get the Banelings their speed. Creep spread is pretty good, actually, for Lloyd. He's got the middle ground here. A little bit of a spur to push off his main base. There's a scan coming out now as I begin to look to see what's happening at the main. Not seeing anything over here detection-wise, and just the 1 Spore Crawler and 1 Spine Crawler. So seeing that, oh, he's running up the tech tree in a hurry. Infestation Pit. We'll be going to Hive Tech before the 15-minute mark. However, I am going to zoom in with the afterburning. Oh, this Overlord, he just stands there, watches them go by, waving as you do. Meanwhile, 12 drones on the way here as Lloyd tries to up his macro. The Lings push out. Now the question is, have they seen this army? They very well may have as they sweep back up. The detection is there. He has seen what's happening. The Lings now on the defensive. The siege tanks, they need to siege up here. Come on, siege tanks. Come on, siege tanks. Get the lead out, buddy. There we go. There's 1 siege. There's 2 siege. The bio now coming out in front of the Marines, trying to figure out what's the best outcome, and then they see the thing go, oh dear! Everybody pile back in. My goodness, the Ling-Lings will waddle over and take down the siege tanks. 2 tanks and a Marine lost. Now we have Roaches on the field for Lloyd as more siege tanks coming off the back of this pressure, and as well as another factory and supply depot. Now the question is, will this hatchery fall? No, it will be picked up. This is the harassment you want on a Doom drop here, as the Lings forced to run back and forth, not able to respond to this as well as they would like. Problems though, there are Spine Crawlers there now, knowing that there is no way to get in there safely. This army will have to retreat. Hatchery is done. The Lings have their hooks. The Lings also have their metabolic boost. It's Ling all the time. And this queen will indeed scare off. Ah, but there are roaches here. And now the fourth base, I should say, has been detected. So if nothing else, this Doom Drop has gotten a good scout, seen that there's no anti-air. Only now is the Spire being built. Did I see it? I did not. So if nothing else, this scout has seen what it needs to see, and the medevac is being poked at by the queen, but it will escape. Good creep spread here by Lloyd. Good Silverleaf creep spread. Meanwhile, back at the base, more tanks on the way, more bio. Fairly good-looking army composition, actually, here. Got some heavy hitters. Got enough Marines there to defend should we see a sudden move to Muta. And sure enough, Infestation Pit for pathogen glands for infestors. Are we going to see an infestor play here? Sure enough, Lair Tech is going up to Hive Tech as the Roachworm receives its tech upgrade as well. Infestor play, not something you see very often. But he's tried it anyway. Meanwhile, a whole bunch of Lings are sitting at the base. The third base, although fourth, I guess, based on timing. Meanwhile, the scan reveals tons of grouped up creep tumors. Not good if you're trying to get your spread is to have all of them clumped together. You want to spread the creep spread, which I realize should be self-evident, but here we are. Back at my base here, mules being dropped en masse at the base here. Macro's looking pretty darn good. Although Lloyd is floating 3,600 minerals, you gotta spend that money. Proxy hatches if you have to, but sure enough, 4 Mutalisks are on the way now as he waits for this Hive Tech to finish. I am also not doing so good in spending my money, though I do have my supply block to thank for that. I do have 3 factories churning out units, though, with siege tanks, though. Again, that supply block is not helping me, but now it looks like with the supply finally alleviated, we are now seeing units being built as fast as I can here. More missile turrets and starports as well, which is good. Need that production facilities. And now, oh, now the ball of army has moved out 6 medevacs, 6 tanks, and a mass of bio, which should be able to take down all comers. Here comes the Greater Spire, though. We may be going past Muta straight into Broodwater, which would be a very interesting fight to be sure. Meanwhile, I am running out of Vespene gas. It is completely out. I definitely need to get that gas up and running here. Only 4 workers out of 6 at the second base. 3 of 6 at the third. Well, there's your problem right there. Now it's the army has moved out. There's a siege tank sieging up, poking at the creep tumors. And now the army will stim forward, try and get the scan. That will, I think everything in scan distance has been cleaned up. Plenty of energy left on these medevacs to heal up the stim, and they will stim again. Actually, they will just let their stim run out and clean up more of these creep tumors. Meanwhile, the army is trying to swing around the backside here and counter 4 Mutas going after the base. Meanwhile, the Lings and Roaches are on the move. Command, they're trying to surround the Banelings, but it's just not enough. Too much bio, too many siege tanks to go after them. And now we have 4 Mutas going after the third base. So there is a changeling, actually. It will go down. And the 4 Mutas here are they trying to force a base race? Are they trying to force a base race with 4 Muta? Alright. Fun fact, you should not try and base race when your opposing base racer has this kind of army at their disposal. This base will fall. The Infestor did lob a little bit of a goo on the army there, but it's not going to last for beans here. 3 Thors on the way. Yeah, you don't want to base race Terran, especially in a town with this kind of army going after yours. Down go the eggs. They will not hatch. Down goes the Infestor. Down goes this, because this base has been completely annihilated. And there are more reinforcements on the way. Another siege tank joins the bed as the creep begins to retreat. More scanning here. More Lings. Can they be destroyed? It's going to be active. Really good hits there. As the couple tanks go down as well as most of the bio. Problem is there's still enough tank left on the field to just go to town. Another quick lob there by the Infestor. Unfortunately, Hunger Growth isn't going to do much of anything here. And with a little bit of a poke from the Vikings, now these Overlords are all clumped together, ripe to be absolutely skimmed down by the Marines. Here come a couple Lings. Today is not going to happen. Actually, that's pretty good from the growth there by the Infestor, but it's all for nothing now. And sure enough, there is the no GG. Just quits. How bad manners. But I think we've all learned a valuable lesson here. Don't base race when you have only 3 or 4 Mutas. You cannot win a base race against a Terran ball when you only have 4 Mutas. Unfortunate here for Lloyd, considering he had, I believe the term is a metric whack ton of minerals and gas at his disposal. But then again, so did I. So I think what I can say I learned here is know when you have your advantage and press it, which I did here. And never forget to keep building off the back of it. Supply block was my enemy here, as it has been so many times in my life in Silver League, but hopefully I will do a little bit better next time. My name is Rituro. Thank you so much for watching My Life in Silver League, everybody, and we'll see you next time.